Welcome, gentlemen. To anyone who happens to watch the recording, this is the 6th session of a regular old tabletop game of Axe. We are mostly using rules that precede the upcoming Imperial imprint. The main exceptions you will see bring thieves and low-light vision more in line with the revised designs. We further add explorers to the core class list, and swap their prime requisite to Constitution. However, the world itself has been meticulously built and stocked following the guidelines from the Imperial Imprint Judge's Journal, and those familiar with the AX module series set in the Oran Empire may recognize materials from AX1. This week, we will begin with the summary and end with introductions, in an inversion of what I had been doing before. It is the small craft's fate to watch the list of the galleons and pray for light winds. The players guide a band unlucky enough to live in the border marks of one such skiff, the free port of Bremen, southern of two tiny nations unfortunate enough to occupy the land bridge between a pair of imperious giants. These looming empires long kept one another in check, until a turbulent succession in the sprawling Sultanate of Hansa to the south emboldened hawks in the northerly kingdom of Locarno to swoop down unopposed on their neighboring bridge state, Ascona. Hansa now musters its armies in reply to thwart Locarno and claim the corridor for its own. Bremen is merely in the way. The Freeport's saving grace is a crescent of savage and untamed wilderness spanning the gap between it and the Hansan border, though the internal borders of Bremen have been severely depleted by the departure of thousands of volunteers going north to fight with Ascona. A month passed before news of Hansa's approach reached 4 travelers by Bremen's eastern border, leaving them with precious little time to plan an escape or prepare to make a stand. In the first month of play, these 4 visited 2 of the remote border forts on Bremen's eastern fringes, Ostmark-Tor and Silsbend-Tor. So far, they have liberated a wagon of trade goods from what they assume were brigands deep in the Needlebreak, a forest west of these 2 border forts, and then gathered numerous reports of beastmen raiders emerging from the forest to abduct whole villages. Deciding that their group was too small to handle that, they elected to head north instead and pursue a freelance contract mapping the untamed forest east of the border beyond Silsbend, Tor. They returned with information on a number of curiosities and dangers in the eastern wood, which they reported to the local markswarden upon their return. The 2 mages in the party contracted a local hunter to aid in the dissection of a fungus-riddled deer skull, and found the brain woven through with mycelial strands. A week later, at the end of the same week I think it was, the party made a second foray into the wilderness. Jogrov parleyed in an ancient tongue with a pair of Flamuriad tree spirits in a sacred grove. The spirits spoke of an encroaching power strangling their roots and offered Jogrov the companionship of a new spell should he agree to alleviate their suffering, which he did. The others were permitted to leave under the sway of an unknown incantation. And they continued their survey, circumventing a hollow tree trunk that hissed when approached. After that, disaster struck. They crossed paths with a tusked but faceless, bark-skinned hulk lifting a tree from a stream. I guess a fallen tree from a stream. And they withdrew slowly, not wanting to show it their backs, but it had other plans. It charged and wrenched Polensis' sword arm free from its roots. Jogrov held it in place with a strangling ensorcelment, while the others formed a line of battle, loosing flames and arrows, in hopes of cowing the beast into withdrawal or defeat. Unfortunately, it was joined by a pair of spear-wielding stumps with stick-like arms and legs who turned the tide of the battle back in its favor. And then Jogrov's spell unraveled. And Zephyr entreated his companions to flee with the fallen Polensis as he joined in the melee. And so Jogrov fled with the body, with Holt, his mapper, and with Telma, Zephyr's attendant, though not before they all saw the mage fall, leaving only Natan and a hunter to hold the things back. And that brings us to introductions. The first on our list now is Jogrov, a necromancer of the Hansen School of Magic and the sole surviving principal of the Doomed Outing. He is played by Chris.
Good evening.
Next, is Telma, whose take from the bounty on mapping brought her to first level, and also to promotion from hireling to player character. She is, as her former employer, played by Richard. Holt is the mapper in Jagrav's employ, though he may wish to renegotiate the terms of his employment in light of recent events. He will be piloted as a secondary character, also by Richard. The last of our members today is Similiricus, an Asconan crusader who arrived in town following Nathan's trail. He will be played by Ross. Now, we have some things to attend to. The first being rights for the fallen. Rather than extensive rules for justifying inheritance, Axe allows a party to hold a heroic funeral for a character who dies with his boots on. And by doing so, they contribute to the starting experience total of the character who will succeed them. Palensis sustained his mortal wound in retreat, which normally disqualifies a character from using this rule, but self-sacrifice for one's friends is one of the founding virtues of Bremen, and I judge that Palensis' choice to stand willingly between the party and mortal danger was an act of bravery in accord with the spirit, if not the letter of the rule. As such, Ross's next character, Similiricus, can benefit from the posthumous expenditure either of the parties or of Palensis' liquid wealth to increase his starting experience. Palensis died with 350 experience points, and Ross already has 200 experience points in his reserve, so you can profitably spend up to 167 gold on funerary rites, or mourners, or festivities, or you could inter it with him, whatever you want to do. If you want to do that. 9/10 of that value will be awarded to Similiricus' experience, bringing him up to Palensis' prior total, which is the maximum value you're allowed to start with. What would you like to do vis-a-vis a funeral?
Well, so fascinating, and so I'm learning here. Okay.
Yeah.
I only have 5 gold, and I don't think that we got his gold back.
We did.
We did.
Remember how I threw your carcass on the horse, and they took your carcass away, and your money was on the carcass.
You did throw his carcass upon the horse. To be honest, I think so I've had there have been a few character deaths lately, so there was a couple of situations where things were not recovered, and I could have swore. That being said, I did lose an entire arm, so I suppose that wasn't recovered. But anyways, yes. My character sheet. I can spend the horse. That sounds really cool. That I don't know who would put the funeral on other than Jagrav, because we're in a faraway country.
Well, Marie might.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jagrav would tell and that would bring the news to at least her. She would know the as full a story as possible.
At this point, I think Telma's in a position to, speak on your behalf as well.
Yeah.
As indeed is Holt, and probably a number of other characters in town who probably liked Palensis because he was useful to them, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and that this is the proper thing to do for someone.
Mm-hmm.
It's optional. You can always just say we give him a perfunctory burial if you're not planning on using this rule.
I want to hire a silversmith to make a new arm that we can bury him with. For 160 gold pieces. Or some bullshit like that. Let's spend that money.
So that's going to get you 16. Oh, no, sorry. I hid it in the thing because it was disused. Actually, let me... In any case, if you'd like to divide your funds later, I can tell you that you for sure have more than 167 gold just from your income alone. I think you guys have something like 300 in income total, right?
Yeah, Zeph had about 350 when he bought it. So I'm sure that...
Yeah. So you definitely have enough, and we can sort out what the exact value is later, unless someone is planning to make a purchase with leftover funds or something. I don't know what you guys are planning to do with the remainder of his effects.
I was planning to plunder them, but we can get back to that later.
Okay. If the exact value becomes important later, we can stop and calculate it then. But if you'd just like to proceed with play, you can tell me how much you guys who have survived Palensis would allocate to his funeral, and how you would like to spend it.
Well, as a survivor, I vote that we allocate the full 167. It's kind of out of character motivated, but any excuse for a party, right? Especially after that. And let's have an opportunity to have the guy remembered. He died heroically for Silsbend. He was one of the only first people to go and do this thing that the Marks Warden really needed done. So I'd say he's worth some heroic remembrance. And let's host a feast. Let's host a memory feast.
Yeah, these are mythical people who look to an afterlife. And I think what's really cool, it's the first time I'm encountering the rule on this, is that it is other people that, by the nature of, of course you should do this, you should honor the dead. It is by other people that then he would gain any benefit. That's right. I just, Palensis was a nobody, but that doesn't matter because these people would know to honor the dead. So that's my thinking. It's weird, because I'm thinking in terms of what's around the character instead of the character. It's kind of cool. That's my thought on it. And so perhaps it is actually quite unacceptable that he enters the ground with no arm. So if something is to be bought or spent, it is that he has a kind of an effigy-like arm put within expensive armor that would otherwise be, wasted on a corpse. But that is maybe the expensive thing that is added, apart from oils and things to treat the body.
And to make sure it stays sanctified and doesn't come back as a weird undead, unless God wills it, in which case it comes back as some sort of holy undead.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the way to prevent someone from coming back as an undead is a topic we've broached in the past, and it's to cremate someone.
Oh, they cremate here, and yes, you have covered that.
However, you can cremate someone who has a fake silver arm. There's nothing wrong with that. This could be like a funeral pyre sort of deal where you set them with their arms and crossed hands over the sword and such, and then burn them.
Yeah,
we could burn the actual body and then bury a decoy Palensis.
They're still passing the threshold through flame into Valhalla either way.
Yeah.
So they treat the body and then burn it. I forgot that there are people that burn bodies. Yes, you mentioned that.
It's not the only way to go. There are other cultures that don't necessarily feel so strongly about it, but here, places that are, let's call it pro-saints and pro-Asconan theology, tend to burn bodies as a way to honor the dead.
Well, why is that?
Because it's not possible for them to be raised as undead.
Oh, yeah, that does sound like a plus.
That's the main reason.
That sounds like an upside.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I don't want to say too much because this affects the metaphysics of things and might actually tread on information that Father Chris has something of an exclusive purview over. So I don't want to go too into detail on why, but it is definitely their teaching and has been for a long time. And it's related to undeath.
Okay. Well, you all see Palinsis treated by whoever would be a mortician those days. In that his body, before, passed through the gates of flame, is the first time you've ever seen it clean. Ish. And so, you realize that at some point he may have been a handsome man. And young and doughty and strong, before he had descended into the fighting pits and to, whatever ways and winds have brought him to this point.
He did go out pretty much the way he expected to.
Yep.
But it was awesome, at least.
Died the way he lived. Well, no, not by fighting faceless rhinoceros Oliphants. No. Okay,
but
so
some sort of wacky supernatural horror.
He definitely died by the sword. That's for sure. Well, that's not really true either. He died violently. He lived violently. Here we go.
He went out of the world the same way that he came into it, screaming and covered in blood.
Oh boy, yeah, it's true.
All right, that works. If you have other details that come to you later that are obviously within budget, you're welcome to note them in the Discord for memorial purposes. I approve.
Make a note to prepare a will in future for.
Oh yeah, so that sort of thing is handled always in character. That's a good point. If you want to have a will, your character needs to have a will, and this may involve hiring a lawyer in game unless you're writing a very basic will that is to be executed by one of your companions, which of course doesn't require a lawyer or especially too much legalese.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Okay, don't worry about going too ham. If you write something up in legalese, I have to read it to adjudicate it. So
I'm gonna write it in like.
I'm gonna get
my friend John to write it in like Middle English or something.
Oh, loud.
And that is exactly how you will read what they've written, because it's very difficult to understand Middle English, especially before the Great Vowel Shift. I guess that would be Old English, isn't it? Okay, anyway, that's great. Now, Zephyr also died heroically. However, Richard is taking over one of his former players' henchmen, which is another way to continue play. Mm-hmm. So he cannot benefit from the heroic funeral rule.
We also have no idea where his corpse is. It doesn't help.
Yeah. You guys are, however, nonetheless welcome to observe whatever funerary rites you find appropriate. Or just tell me that you observe the appropriate funeral rites and we can move on.
Well, Jagrov is privately interested in his soul.
Go on.
Like, in an intellectual sense? Or I want to hear where this is going.
Oh, well, definitely it's an intellectual. It involves his mind and his knowledge and the things he knows and the things he wants to know.
Oh, yes, I see.
So he would be wondering whether or not it would be possible to, what's possible in the duration of time that remains. Is there any study that can be done, or questions asked, or rituals?
Are you proposing to mystically seance with my dead player character?
I mean,
Speak with dead as a spell.
I just don't think we have that. I don't think we have that magic.
So it's as cut and dried as I just don't have the ability yet, basically.
You don't have the ability to speak with the dead, but if you meet the requirements of the spell, you can certainly hire someone else to do it for you. There are rules for paying someone to cast a spell on your behalf, in the book, which, by the way, might also be important. You can pay to be raised. It's very expensive because it's quite a high level spell, but should you guys, for example, make a bunch of money and then someone else dies and you do recover their body, you can tamper with mortality.
Yeah, we'd need his corpse for Speak with Dead, unfortunately.
In
At least
that
the version
case,
of Speak with Dead in the book.
Jagrov is basically, since their deaths, he's in a funk, which other people interpret to be morose over their deaths, but really he's in a funk at the loss of knowledge and his lack of knowledge and what could have been gained. But he stays quiet for the most part.
Okay.
It's not quite sure.
Zephyr's also in something of a funk.
Yes.
Thelma's going to go around letting the folks back at the the trappers camp and the hunters camp know that Zephyr got by a gigantic bark goblin ogre thing in the forest, and don't go in that fucking forest.
Don't go in that fucking forest, okay?
Yeah, that
this
forest...
will become a mantra around town. You remember "Don't go in the well," right, Ross?
Yeah. There are tree things in that forest that will kill you with a spear. Zephyr died to let you know that, and now I am living to let you know that. Do not go in the forest, you will be killed by a giant goblin with a spear.
And yet, the forest is a fascinating place.
Speaking of not going into the fucking forest, pardon my French, the next day, Telma goes into the fucking forest.
Yes.
And indeed returns about 9 hours later,
mm-hmm.
with information that I will leave it to Richard to pass on.
So Telma comes back to the inn, or caravanserai, or whatever we call it, where Jagrov is staying. And I assume at this point we are still in the process of arranging Palintis' funeral. And she puts Palintis' sword on the table, and she says, I made it back to where he fell. So there's no bodies. Whatever those things were, they took the bodies with them. They left everything else, all the money, a lot of the food. Not all the money. Like they sort of left a treasure trail of bread and money on their way to wherever they were. We could probably follow it, but I decided I probably shouldn't. There's more stuff in that forest than we saw last time. There are some things like walking trees, about as tall as a tree, long, gangly.
Walk trees that walk.
Yeah, but not like the other ones. I'm not that good with words. Give me a sec to think this out. Like the ones that got our boys, kind of squat, trunk shaped. These ones were more like a cypress tree, long and tall and willowy, and they I'm pretty sure they could have pulled me apart like an ear of corn. But either they didn't see me or they decided not to chase me, but I got away from them. Anyway.
Is there corn in this part of the world? Shit.
Well, we'll come back to that one. But I managed to bring back. I knew that Zeph carried all his cash on him, just like Palintis did. So I was hoping I could go strike it real rich. But I think there was nothing left of it except what spilled out of it when those creatures carted his carcass away. So I don't know where he is now, but I assume he's buried in a garden somewhere, serving as peat.
This is most likely.
Sorry, man. If I could have, I would have brought him back for you. And I liked him. I know you liked him, but
Yes. Someone to talk to.
Yeah. Hey, about that. You still gonna be looking for trouble around here? Because, well, he was my employer, and as employers go, he was pretty good. Paid well, pretty generous. Kind of a little too into weight training, but anyway. You mind if I team up with you?
Not at all.
Okay.
This is wonderful of you to offer.
We're gonna need more guys than this. Like, one stick-thin trapper and one old man with dark magic. That is not an adventure party make. We're gonna need to find some more people.
Surely you do not intend to go back to that forest?
Well, we got an oath, don't we? We owe someone something. We told those spirits. You told those spirits that we patch up things for them.
Yes.
But
true. We must not betray them.
I'm not in any hurry. Maybe after I stop having nightmares about it, but I don't want to go back there yet. I want to talk to you about the needlebreak, and we'll pull back from that for a minute as we discuss out of character, as we start looping in the next player characters.
Okay. So this is actually going to be relatively easy, easier even than I thought before the session. Now that I think about it now, the next day, on the 25th, presumably the funeral takes place. Mm-hmm. One imagines before 3 days would be good. And Similuricus, wherever he has been traveling or staying, will have a ghostly vision in his sleep of a mustachioed gentleman beckoning him on.
Okay. In dream is that what you mean?
Oh, is that what you want to do? Yeah, that was going to be all of it. But if you if you have business in the dream, we can do that.
No. I just didn't know. Okay, I'm gonna put on the creepy music. On the creepy.
Okay. Sure.
All right.
Shit, I should never have said anything about a dream. What was I thinking?
I've been there.
Stupid Martin.
People take your thing and they run with it.
I try to say I like your mustache, but he seems impossibly far away, even though he's only 10 feet away.
Sure. Yeah. You get the sense. Similuricus gets the sense that he has business here. If he had planned on passing through, he finds that intention replaced, at least for the moments after he wakes up, with a conviction that he perhaps ought to stay.
Okay. So I don't really know who the mustached man is, but I awaken with the conviction that there's something to this, and that I need to, try to see where this leads. Is that right?
You don't have to.
Would I?
That's just the vague impression that he wakes up with. These things do fade throughout the day unless we make note of them.
What would I know about the importance of dreams, or would they have any? I don't know, the lore of Skona.
You have theology as a proficiency, is that correct?
I got rid of it. No, that was the one that made sense. Theology made sense. I had sensing evil and theology. I put the old cheat. I don't remember why, but I think I recall that those were the ones to me. I wasn't bothered by the limitations of sensing evil.
Okay. I don't think there are any. It didn't seem like a bad proficiency to me at all. Okay, so you do have theology, yes?
Yes.
For detailed knowledge on this, I would like you to make me a theology proficiency throw. It's an 11 plus, and I can give you some very basic information if you fail. Still,
I fail.
Okay. You'll know that dreams are not merely the imaginings of a wandering mind. This is the teaching.
Dreams do have a some sort of important supernatural quality when they happen. Okay. Yeah, so that leads into the same idea. So I stay in town, presumably find them at the wash house outside the town. Is that right? I mean, I would.
Works for me.
There. Okay. I see I see that they are clearly sad, and naively just come up to them and just like, hello, excuse me, my friends. And I'm like I have clunky plate armor, but my face looks too young and thin and to be wearing such armor. I look like I don't know. And then I have just like a coif, for now. And this really narrow, I don't know what to say except he looks like a dork. And just that natural dork face. And yeah, exact. Aw, I feel bad for anybody if they're like, I have a dork face. No, you don't. You're beautiful wherever you are.
We have dork faces together.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank you, Ross. I was getting worried.
No, all these people are handsome, to be honest. You guys out there with dork faces. I was just trying to be nice. But anyways, this guy, he's got long face, like literally physically long though. And he's young and gentle voiced, and he says, hello, I look forlorn. Is everything okay?
Not about as okay as they're gonna be.
I'm so sorry. What happened?
You know that forest, the Northwood, north of the Sill?
No, I do not. On my way in, I saw that there were, it appeared to be there was a great forest, though, behind the Tor.
There is. Don't go in there. There's a... long story short, me and he were part of a gang which were scouting out the area for the Marks Warden. We ran into some beasts in there. One took him out. Tore his arm right off. Didn't make it after that.
I think when I come up to the table, the first thing I see, I mean, is it fair to say that Jagrov, like, does he appear to be handsome? Like, is that something that...
Yeah, he has like a handsome straight nose, and...
No, from Hansen.
Yeah.
I can see that I've made an error in naming the countries in this world.
My accent can't divide that.
And
that concept that well. Hansen.
I imagine.
I choose to believe that that's what Jagrov misunderstood it as.
Sure. Let the man answer.
I imagine him as somewhat light bronze skin, with a mustache, twirly mustache, like a handlebar kind of, but no, what is it when it slightly curves up, but it's long.
Yeah, I don't know, but like would it mark him as not being from north of Hansa?
Yeah.
Like, would there be cultural kind of?
Yeah, I think so.
Like
Plus, he plays up all cultural differences as much as possible.
Right. Well, so when Similuricus sees this, he's like, "Oh, are you Hansen?" I'm sorry. Please let me introduce myself. I'm Similuricus. Smile.
Similuricus. Yes, I will take your hand and stand to greet you. Jagrov.
You mispronounce his name, and he's like, "Yes, exactly. Jagrov. That's nice to meet you."
No, Jagra.
Two kinds of people in the world.
It'll take practice getting his name right. There's a little subtle wibble on the R.
I have always wanted to actually meet and talk to a Hansen. Actually, I'm from Skona. I hope that's okay.
Bremen's a big country. Room for everybody.
Yes, agreed. It is dangerous here. Why have you come?
Right. Well, I was sent here by my master. I was following the path of another what we call they're called crusaders, right? Out of character, crusaders.
Mm-hmm.
I was following the path of another crusader who was sent here on a quest. His name was Natan. Have you seen an Skonan crusader that has passed by? And I mean, like,
yes.
Something that kind of sets me apart is, and Martin, tell me whatever livery they would have, a tabard or a half cloak, or what would be, or would they hide it, or would it be plain? I don't know. But what would a crusader look like? Something I think that's kind of odd, though, is the plate mail.
I mean, I would imagine that he has a cassock.
Okay.
Which he wears over the mail. I don't know if they would wear that into battle, but certainly if they are, that would be the parade uniform.
Oh, I assume that was. I do have that, I think, on my way. Oh no. Yes, I have a blue priest's cassock. So.
Yeah, the colors are keyed to a different setting, so don't worry about that part. But you certainly do have a cassock.
Yeah, so I can't imagine that fitting over a suit of plate armor. Maybe it would though. I don't know.
Probably a tabard involved.
Maybe it's Maybe it's a surplice instead.
A what?
A surplice?
Yeah. It's like talking about not a. It's like a tabard, but more so. Is that what I'm thinking of?
It's a very sort of blousey is probably the wrong word, but it's kind of a billowy tabard-like thing that goes often over top of a cassock if you are a priest or a member of the lay clergy. Isn't the word I'm looking for, but like a lay minister in a lot of religious traditions, they'll wear like a second thing over top that is sort of like one size fits all, and they'll change it with the seasons more readily instead of needing to get another one fitted.
What is how do you spell it?
Surplice, a surplice.
Oh yeah, that thing. Okay, I was unable to spell that at all. Anyway, so once the name Natan comes out, obviously Telma has a pretty immediate invisible reaction of oh no, and then when you finish your spiel, she takes off her hat and holds it on her chest and says, "My man, like Similaricus, I'm afraid to tell you that your man's he was with us when our man fell.
Gives you the power of AI.
I'm afraid he's not coming back."
You knew him?
In passing, yeah. He joined it with our gang just before we went into the forest to do our last batch of surveying, and he fell in the same skirmish that put down our man Zephyr and Valensis.
Just to be clear, none of you saw him fall,
yeah,
but you did recover his mace.
Listen,
you recovered his mace.
Ironclad fact. He's dead.
Oh,
yeah, I did recover his mace, actually, and I will.
That.
Yeah.
He fought valiantly.
I recovered his weapon.
He did. May I see it, please?
Yeah, just a second. It's in my room. I'll be back in a minute. She goes off to go get it. She comes back and she hands it over.
Is this a plain weapon, or does it have any sort of heirloom significance? like it's passed on or, handed down or anything like that? Or is it just a simple weapon?
No, it's not a simple weapon. A crusader, well, it's not too ornate, but a crusader has some station. They tend to be either higher ranking officers, relatively speaking, even if they're fairly junior, or have some specific work that they're supposed to go out and do. Now, most of the maces aren't going to be especially ornamental, but the head is an unusual shape compared to what you might see in a really, really simple weapon. It tends to have, how do I describe this? I wish I had mocked it up ahead of time. It has 8 points. If you imagine 2 sort of 4-pointed pyramids, like a D4, stuck into each other, so that the points of one are coming out the sides of another. It's sort of that shape.
Okay. I hold it and I say, this is something that will be important. We can either find as a body, or if I can bring this back to Ascona. I don't even ask. I put that on, like, near my backpack, but I also do not wield it. Like, put it away. I wrap it up. If I have a blanket, I put it in the blanket.
No objection from Telma.
And I say, so if he hired you, he must have trusted you. You must have been brought into his holy purpose by which he was sent here. I've heard it said that there are monsters here. That an entire village was burned and razed.
It is still unclear who did that, but there are monsters.
Know of this?
Yeah.
We have seen it.
You've seen this?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible. Yes, me.
Watch out there.
Bandits. Taking prisoners, they're leaning on the fear people have for the so-called beastmen. I think they're just men. I think they can be defeated.
And is that, you intend to do that?
I sort of look over to Jagroth, look back to you and say, yeah. Yeah, I think we do. There's stuff going on in the needlebreak. I mean, there's stuff going on in all these woods, but I had some cousins who got taken, and I think they might still be out there. So I want to go back and get them.
You can see the look of inexperience, vainglory come across the eyes of Similuricus, and he leans forward and he says, I think that this mace came to me, and I think that you have been appointed to meet with me and also with
Natan?
I think you've been appointed to meet with Crusader Natan, and I want to do this with you.
Sort of look over to Jagroth, look back to him. Sure, that sounds good. Yeah. No, yeah, that sounds great.
Agreed. Keep your shield up.
You know how to... Man with armor like yours, you look built tough. You do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Good.
I've been trained to use this armor.
That was my assumption.
Great. Is it true? Is it true that Hansen, that they you summon evil spirits and speak with them. Is that still true, or is it's myth?
Yes.
It's true.
The barest hint of a smile. It is true.
I've heard stories about...
One must be very careful.
I've heard stories about palaces where they... that's what they do, is they summon and communicate with spirits there. Their whole colleges and that they're devoted to doing this. By our ancestors, we fought one.
Yes, indeed.
I thought it was stories. You've seen spirits.
We have all seen spirits.
I've seen spirits. Head north into that forest. If you head north of that forest and take the right path, you'll find a sacred grove with 2 linden trees twined together. You walk in their grove without their permission, you'll see spirits for yourself. Because they don't like that.
You're pulling my sash down. This is silly. Of course not.
Why wouldn't it? I saw a 9-foot-tall man shaped like a tree stump impale a man. What's a spirit so much stranger than that?
And don't forget the arm. Valence's. His arm.
We've all seen bulls go. We've all seen bulls lose their temper. That's not quite as amazing.
It came right off.
I think you all tell tall tales.
We've lived tall lives.
I would like to see these things.
It has been an interesting month.
Well,
So we head to the needlebreak tomorrow then?
Not straight to the needlebreak. I've got cash and I need to spend it. We could probably use some more men. We're not the only people who got business in the needlebreak.
If
we head back down to the needlebreak is the name of the forest just to our south, just to the southwest of us.
And what awaits there? 9-foot tall creatures?
If I see anything that's 9 foot tall, I'm turning around. I'm going the other way. What waits us there is bandits. Bandits and something strange, but
or beast men.
Bandits, beastmen, whatever.
You think it's the very men that burned down the village?
Well, they didn't come out of the other forests. Whatever burned down that village, it came out of the needlebreak and went back in. So yeah, I do.
This would be justice.
Yeah.
I would like to go too.
Okay, you're in.
Oh, absolutely.
Excellent.
So here's my plan. Tomorrow, as we got 3 horses, 3 of us, no problem. We tell Holt we don't need him anymore. We're not going to do more mapping, not for now. And frankly, after that last expedition, I think he could use the break.
Yeah, great.
We'll head on down to the Osmark Tor, see if we can find any men who want to come with us on an expedition. And then after that, we'll head up into the needlebreak and see what there is to find. That sound good to y'all?
Agree.
All right. Check on it.
I offer you my whole, half of my arm,
Clap.
I have one of them, yeah.
You're way stronger than her. It's not a question.
15. I'm pretty strong.
Oh yeah, you could pick her up. Oh man.
He's
remind me of Zeph.
I rolled he's really skinny. No, he's really lanky. It's no, he's not.
There's a whole section at the start of that where you're supposed to adjust if you have exceptionally high constitution or strength or something. You're supposed to add X%.
Okay, that would make
so
sense.
You may, however, but yeah. So there is a anyway. That's really not important right now. Lanky, he can still be lanky and strong.
And by medieval
but he's probably not absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's exceptionally strong, having spent most of his life having literally enough to eat.
Oh. that's the case for Skona?
I have no idea if it's the case for Ascona, but it certainly must be the case for someone who's packing that much strength.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's corn-fed.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, we don't have corn.
I don't know if you have corn. I really didn't give that any thought. That's a really good question. Right. Sorry. There's definitely rye. That I'm sure of.
Rye-fed, whatever. So, any objection to, breaking paths with Holt for now?
Well, he's not your hireling. He's Jogrov's hireling.
That's true. Jogrov, do you want to keep him?
He's the mapper?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we get no money for mapping needlebreak, right?
You get no money for mapping the needlebreak, but he can still produce maps, and he did not seem particularly motivated by you getting paid to do the mapping, because he's paid on a salary. So if he gets to map stuff that isn't mapped, and the needlebreak largely isn't mapped, then that was motivating for him.
Well, what's motivating for me is that we'll have a method by which we can go back to a place if we find it.
It was nice having a map.
So.
You guys can map without a mapper. It's the quality of the maps that will suffer, and afterward, when you return to town, you can make a proficiency throw to map things from memory. I'm not 100% sure if this is the correct interpretation, but what I will usually do for that is say if you pass the throw, I will make corrections to your map if they are inaccurate, or I will tell you, I won't like draw over it, but I'll tell you, this is not what you remember, this is not what you remember, this is not what you remember.
Cool.
So, there is some mechanical value to it.
Yeah, now...
But adventurers can make maps, they're just, not as useful to someone else.
It sounds like we're not abstracting mapping, and we should map, though? Is that right? Because I had not been mapping.
If you go into a dungeon, you should map. If you're in the wilderness, I'm not going to make you map, but you should make a note of landmarks, and I will treat that as the same.
Okay.
I mean, there aren't a lot of mechanics. In fact, there are no mechanics that say you must have a map for this in the wilderness. Almost all navigation makes reference to landmarks for navigation as normal.
I'm gonna keep him anyway.
Okay.
And because I just can't imagine a medieval world where a good map of a place is not useful to somebody.
That's true.
Okay. He'll say if you're going into any more forests, he wants hazard pay. Or he wants to renegotiate.
This forest is not like that forest.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I hope it means there will be no gorgons, no faceless beast creatures. But if there are, what shall the agreement be?
Well, I've noticed that you're making a lot of money.
I too have noticed. Do go on.
If you want me to stay, I think you should cut me in.
Do you wield a weapon?
I am trained to wield a weapon.
In this case,
I am, of course, a scout.
In this case, my vote is yes.
Your vote is yes for what?
That we cut you in.
Okay. You can make a reaction throw to. Ooh. Do you have to rehire him if you renegotiate? I guess if he suggests it, I'm thinking probably no. Oh, this is a gray area in the rules, or maybe it's a completely cut and dry area that I'm just not familiar with. I'm going to go ahead and say it's fine, you can just hire him as a hireling under the circumstances, because the alternative is he says no screw you and he quits, and that doesn't very much sense, given his motivations.
I rolled a 20. I wasted a 20 for nothing.
You rolled a 20 on 2d6?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Well, then he's hired.
I rolled a 3.
I think
on
normally
2d6.
that sort of thing makes sense, but this isn't your first meeting, and
I rolled a 3.
my thought is he thinks this is a doomed and you're all going to die, but also we know his motivations, and also during the last fight, which was a lethal one, you put him in the back and told him to flee first, and so that is a good sign for him vis-a-vis how you look at the people who are not primary shareholders in your venture. So he'll consent to being hired as a henchman under the circumstances. He has leather armor, a spear, and a sword, a short bow.
I hope a bow.
He just has one of the templates. Let me double check and see which one it is.
Oh, hold silly Billy.
It's whichever template had mapping, which I know is a leather armor one. He's a cartographer, Lancerving shortbow, quiver with 20 arrows, spear, hand axe, leather armor, hooded cloak, wool tunic, yada 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 yada. Clothing, backpack, tattered cartographic journal, quill and ink, tinderbox, 12 torches. 12 torches, okay. And 2 weeks of iron rations.
Perfect.
No water skin. But he is amply armed, if not amply armored.
The bow will be his main job, I think, unless
Okay.
things get really drastic.
Okay.
Explorers are better for that anyway.
Yeah, let me double check his stats here. I also have those written down because that may sway things, but I believe that he had average strength and dexterity, or identical if they had a bonus, and certainly no penalties. I will pull that up later as we go. Oh, he has a dex bonus, so actually, yeah, definitely you want him to do
Nice.
archery. He will let you know he's actually something of a good hand with a bow. If he does say so himself.
Won some village contests, eh?
You get the sense that this isn't a very big pond. But
all right,
yeah,
off we go to...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's quite all right. Now, I'm going to just clue you in a little bit to what's going on behind the scenes if you want to go and collect more men. You'll have to recruit. It will take a week of in-game time to do so if you want to attract more hirelings. They're not just going to be there right when you arrive. So throughout the first week after you advertise, they will trickle in. So if you want to go to the next tour and then advertise, that's what you're looking at.
Any objections?
No.
Okay.
Not from me.
Great. So on the 26th, having hired Holt as a henchman, because the DM wasn't sure if you were supposed to be able to or not, and said, yes, let's do it, you will arrive at... Oh, you will go... One second. Hang on. Where did I put it? Oh, okay, never mind. You'll cross the path of a herd of sheep on your way to Ostmark. Yeah, you rolled an encounter, and it's a very exciting sheep encounter.
I pet the
Would you like to interact with that in any way?
Yes,
you
I
pet the sheep.
Yeah.
Okay, sheep are pretty stupid. It doesn't know what's going on.
I lose my arm again.
No.
I quit.
Your arm quits anyway. The sheep don't know what's going on. They bleat at you.
Oh man, it's so wonderful. All it knows how to do is just sheep. So simple.
Do you speak sheep?
So pure. No, not at all.
It's so pure.
Just to be to be straight with you here, I have no idea if Ross is playing low charisma on purpose or if this is all an elaborate ruse to like sound you out because he's running an inquisition. I genuinely can't tell, and I love it.
Jagrov looks at you when you say so pure. Yes, the stench of human iniquity knows no bounds, yes?
Stench of sheep shit knows no bounds. These guys
No,
need a wash.
This stench
And you
is
make it to the
bounded.
door.
This stench is
We
bounded.
could do. I mean, we got another about 30 minutes of working with the sheep, though, Martin.
If you want to play Sheep Simulator, I will not stop you. I don't think I can.
It's
The
funny
Golden Age
because
Simulator.
Try.
Richard suffers the most, and I don't want to see him suffer, but like he just really wants to stab things real bad.
Stab or be stabbed.
Okay, guys. So
Honestly,
you
I
arrive at the
I
door.
did briefly consider stealing a sheep, but no, I'm not.
Yeah, you'll arrive at the door. You could have tried if you wanted, but it's too late now. You chose to evade that encounter, and due to your prudence, you have survived. You arrive at the Tor at the end of at the same day because you have horses, and may undertake whatever you would like to do while you're there. Is it just hiring? Do you have any other orders of business? Anyone you want to talk to?
I'll probably commission my leather armor, or just buy leather armor now that I'm in a better place. Either way, same amount of money leaves my personal. That accounting's already handled.
Yep. Yeah, you'll be able to buy any. This is a Class 5 market, so you can buy whatever's available in a Class 5 market.
All right, I will roll to the hiring cost for a Class 5 market real quick. 1 sec.
Okay, and you're going to stay in town for a week?
Yes.
I would like to search. I mean, I don't know if this is even Class 5 market. Can I search the market for like some sort of, that same curio dealer I was trying to find last time? I'm looking for any sort of, Cenobitic puzzle box-ish type thing that the old curio shop might have.
Be more specific.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess what I'm looking for, I'm basically looking for something Hansen, I suppose. So, I mean, really, not to be too.
Well, Farouk,
there's no magic
the person,
shop, but
no, nothing of the sort. But there is a chapter house. Although it's a Locarnan tradition chapter house, so how much use they'll be to you is a question. Not necessarily none, but it's not the same type of magic. They may still have useful books. The person who runs the market, Farouk, is Hansen, like from Hansen. So
this maybe will be useful. Important later, but real quick, on the journey, so what takes 2 days, 3 days? No, you said 1 day.
No, it's less than a day. It's about 18 miles, and you guys have a 24-mile-a-day movement speed on those horses.
Apart from the sheep, I harangue Zephyr with... Jagrov. I harangue him with questions about Hansen nonstop the whole time.
Yeah, and he's very happy to answer your questions, even if the answers are not accurate, because he doesn't know much about Hansa itself.
Yeah, Smilarchus just believes you.
Okay. So you are hiring. You're hiring for
henchmen.
Henchmen. Okay.
Yeah.
And at the end of the week, by the way, you guys will have to pay your upkeep. I posted that there. Don't worry about doing the math on it right now.
Okay.
Are any of you planning to pay extra on your upkeep? because this does affect hiring if you appear to be a higher level. It increases your eligibility to hire people of higher levels.
No. Can't afford it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Fair enough. That's totally fine. Yeah, I just... Beyond that, we'll deal with that detail later. Okay. You'll spend a week in town. We'll come back to the curio thing. I may have something for you. I may not. I'm not sure. Did you want to talk to Farouk about that or anything, or are you just looking around to see what's in town? Because Class 5 market's not that impressive. We're talking like 1,000 families surrounding the whole area and this whole domain, probably.
I'm looking for anything that is, old Hansen or not Deparian. Some sort of even if it's just a little figurine or something like that.
If you're really just looking for trinkets, you'll be able to find trinkets. Whether they are authentic or not is unclear. But you can certainly find things in the style of Hansa that people are more than happy to tell you, oh yes, this is good luck.
Is there anything with inscriptions in old Deparian or whatever?
That's a good question.
That would be a bigger mark of authenticity to me.
Something with an inscription in Depari.
And also it would mean there was somebody who was making it that knew it if it was a forgery, for example.
Okay. Let me double check. This is an interesting question. During this week, you're not going to find anything like that, but I will continue to check on the off chance that something comes up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That is, it is not outside the realm of possibility that you'll stumble across something here or there, because what you're looking for is rather mundane. But this is not that big a market, so, you get what you get.
Yep.
All right. Now, recruitment.
I don't have any money, guys. Sorry.
That's fine.
But
Well, then you won't be doing any hiring.
I will be somewhat of a hireling myself.
Oh, actually, wait. Right, we do have Palensis' money, which I assume got distributed between Shagrav and myself. But we'll come up to what that is later.
Presumably, it was mostly left to Jagrav, but he can redistribute it to you at his leisure.
Jagrav is nervous about keeping more than a just amount of a dead man's money. And so he will gladly split it equally.
Swag. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, there was a funeral though, right? I mean...
An expensive one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're talking specifically about the remainder after the funeral.
Oh, okay. They could go for it. Oh, and then lastly, this... Standard of living. You said standard of living is due next session, but is that true for Similuricus? He would, and if so, what happens if he doesn't have the money? I'm excited to find out.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm going to be prorating it.
Dang it. I thought I was
sorry
going to get just a little bit of mudcore in there.
You can get as much mudcore as you want. It's just not what the game's designed for.
No, I'm
yeah.
Okay, so you said it's going to take a week. We're not doing one for one time, but that makes it even harder, right? Like, look, a week is a long ways from now. So, do you guys want to scout the needlebreak with what we have?
Well, actually, you guys have just suggested doing some hiring, and I've just rolled the results of your...
Yeah, my intention was to stick around in town for a week trying to find some more henchmen.
You are going to stay in town for a week? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How much does it cost to stay in town for a week?
6.5 GP.
I beg you all for money.
Sure.
Oh,
here,
man.
take it from.
These people are so nice.
Here, take 10 gold.
There's a hospital. There's a hospital in town here run by an Asconan tradition priestess. So you will have no trouble lodging with them for a week as a guest. Although you do get the sense that it would be rude to continue to stay there for too long without contributing directly to the work that they do there.
Well, I take the time to demonstrate my vow of poverty and simple services and in service to the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, Crusaders don't have to take those vows. But you're more than welcome to have taken them.
I demonstrate some,
there's nothing wrong with taking those vows.
I try to just gain their good favor by just being of service to them.
Yeah, I apologize if there's any incongruity between the Asconan traditions and the clerics of other games, but here your commission is largely to hunt mages.
Oh yes.
That's why you exist.
Yes.
Specifically Dipari mages. Specifically Hansen mages.
I won't believe it.
Dragon Age. That's what I was trying to think what it was called.
Yeah, so and that is definitely a commission that he will have. It's not like there are some mage hunters. It's like your job is to either kill mages, to find mages, to lead troops, or to kill things that mages made that are unnatural.
Yeah.
And then kill the mages that made them.
His curiosity is genuine about Hansa and spirits and stuff, but maybe we'll burn that bridge, as somebody said. We'll burn that bridge when we get there, because
you shouldn't feel any strong need to push for PvP. There's much to be learned from questioning a tradition. Well, I mean, I can't really stop you, but the purpose of the Asconan, the foundation of the Crusaders, is very much at odds with Dipari magic, and there are questions for them about what it means that Hans has been trying to revive all of these traditions. So I leave it to you to explore that on your own. I'm not going to tell you what your motivation is, because I'm not sure that it's as cut and dry for your character as it would be for the person who is making this setting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when we get I don't think he's summoned any spirits yet. It's nothing that would be clear to this young man, but...
Well, he'll also know that not all spirits... What you will definitely know as a Crusader is that not all spirits are evil. There are evil spirits, but this part of the history is absolutely crystal clear to you, is that the reason that you guys don't mess with Dipari magic is because it can be corrupted, and when corrupted, it is corrupting. But, I mean, there were also healing spirits, and restoring spirits, and blessing spirits, and such, which was what they were before they were twisted. Before the fall of Dipar, and when things got bad. So there's also white magic, as it were.
I will raise questions as soon as the weird necromantic spooky stuff starts happening.
Okay. Anyway, sorry for all the exposition. It was in the Gazetteer, man.
No, you're right. It was.
All right, so this much to say. 2 people come and respond during the first week. One on the first day is a guardsman who's a part of the reserve, and who has family that were in one of the villages that was taken. And by the way, when you guys come back, you've been gone for a couple weeks. Things have gotten a little bit messy around here. It's clear to you that the situation is deteriorating. You see more people when you come into town and visit the inn to drink. You see there are people who look like they're really down on their luck, and you overhear whispers of more villages that have been taken, more names of villages that you recognize, or names of villages that you don't recognize, but when you ask, someone says, "Oh, it was just next to the forest." Things are escalating. I guess only Jogrov knows that because he's the only one who's been here before.
It is good we come back at this time.
So, a reserve guardsman who says his family was taken by one of these, from one of the villages, responds on the first day. His name is Watts.
What's his kit?
Not very much. He's got his spear and leather armor, and a buckler that you think would be completely useless. Normally these people are equipped with a real shield. This is just like,
Sure. I offer from 12 GP a month and a quarter share.
Okay.
Sure.
You can roll a reaction check.
Okay.
That's 2d6, and you add your charisma, which is not 0.
+1. 9.
Okay. Watts accepts. He'll follow you where you're going, especially if you're going to get family back. He finds your similar backgrounds encouraging. A second respondent comes on the last day of the week. Sort of a seedy-eyed young man. He'll ask if you guys are the ones hiring.
We are.
Where are you going?
We're going to go into the needlebreak, and we're going to find out where people are being taken. And if we can, we'll bring them back.
You'll need good help.
Yeah. Are you good help?
He'll flash a smile. Well, it depends. Do you know what you'll find there?
One of two things. Beastmen, or men trying to pretend they're beastmen. Either way, no one we want to talk to.
And, where's the rest of your army?
Don't fuck with me, kid. You know what we are.
He'll look confused. No one goes into the needlebreak.
Well, I guess I'm no one.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm gonna go into the needlebreak. Me, my wizard friend, my crusader friend, and a couple muscle I got.
Have you ever been there before?
Yes, I've been there before. I used to trap there.
Okay, but how far in have you ever gone?
We got a map. Got a map that'll take us. We got a map that'll take us to an important location with it that we think is where they're at. If you're looking for, let me level with you, kid. If you're looking for a safe, straightforward job, where you're going to be part of a job with 10,000 men at your back, leave, because we're not that. What this is going to be is this: if we go out there, we're going to change the we are going to either save 1,000 lives, or we're going to make 1,000 pounds of gold. But this is not going to be a safe, fun expedition where it's you and 1,000 of your closest friends. You get me? Now, are you a brave? Are you brave or not?
His eyes will light up at at the mention of gold. They'll say, okay, there is money in it then.
Of course there's money in it. There's always money in it.
You'll see the gears in his head start turning at this odd moment. And they'll say, okay. What are your terms?
We offer 12 gold pieces a month and a quarter share. You're not expected to take the front line, but you're expected to hold the back line.
And do you have any scouts?
We got 2 scouts. I'm one of them.
He'll, okay, go ahead and roll a reaction.
Okay. 1 and 4. Oh, sorry. I rolled a 1 and a 4, so that's a 5. Plus 1, so that's a 6. Then plus whatever I got for my offer. So
plus 1 as a 6. Well, yeah, you're in the. He'll say, well, listen, there's this other group that has been going around cleaning up, leftovers at the villages get taken. They made me an offer, just like yours. Mm-hmm. Maybe you could do a little better.
All right. Well, 1 extra, huh? What's your skill set? Who are you?
I got fast hands.
Do you now? All right. 16 gold pieces a month.
Hi, Mark Barden.
You sure you don't want to just give him a signing bonus?
It's too late for. I already said it. I might as well stick.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're going to offer him a substantially bigger wage, 25% more than his normal wage, you can get a +2 in addition to your charisma.
Okay.
So a total of +3.
All right. 1 sec.
Sorry, I didn't actually generate backgrounds for these characters properly, so I'm kind of piecing it together as we go.
14.
14?
14.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's clear to you that was a bluff before what he was saying, and he's done.
Welcome to the team.
He shakes your hand before you even finish. His name is Sandath.
Alright, may you live to collect it, Sandath.
The first one's name?
Watts.
Did he fight on the front line?
Yeah.
Okay.
His armor kind of sucks for that, but he definitely can fight on the front line.
I don't think anybody else's armor's better
than leather? And no shield?
We can get a shield at least.
Can we get him some armor? He's no good to us dead.
I think we can probably find some leather at the. Let's see if I can commission some leather. Now he's already got leather, right?
He's already got leather. He's got leather and a spear, and some food and stuff.
Sandra,
can he wear a chain?
He's trained as a guard. He could wear. Let me think. No, let me roll. Thinking is for nerds. No, he is trained. He's trained only in light armor. This is a 0th level. A 0th level type. He's more than happy to be trained, and in fact, he will give Similaricus a look and say, "He could teach me. I'm happy to learn. I've been told I have the aptitude."
You look it.
Can he use a shield?
He looks dead average. Yeah, he can use a shield.
Oh, I'm going to tell him he looks it. Alright, well, we'll get a shield.
Okay.
I seek...
That's no problem.
A private audience with my friends here at outside the tour when we have a chance.
Okay.
Everyone, you said, is it right that you think that these aren't monsters? They're actually just men, right?
That's what I believe, yeah.
I've been trained in a rite. I could, and I think we should ask for the patron's blessing. We should ask for her help in what we're about to do. But I could also search the hearts of these men, in case you think there might be any treachery. It seems like a lot of people here in this tour have been through a lot, so maybe there's no possibility of that.
No, I hadn't even considered that. That's not a bad idea. If you can see the evil in the hearts of men, then I'm not going to turn up my nose at that. If the patron wants to offer us miracles, I'm not going to say no.
Jagrov gives Similaricus the eternal side-eye.
that me.
Okay.
I'm just looking up its limitations. Sensing evil, detect the evil up to 60 feet away by concentrating. It takes a turn. So, based on that, all I would do is wait until we have a chance to eat our new friends Watts and Sonda, and I would remain quiet, concentrate, and try to sense evil at the table.
I'm going to let you know that this is identical to casting the spell functionally, which means that it does, in fact, have a spell signature. Rather a miracle signature, this being a miracle that you're invoking the saint's patron for, and it does make noise. It's not like absurdly loud chanting, but this does involve an incantation, and as well as some meditation. Unless you have the quiet casting ability or proficiency also, it is conspicuous that you are invoking a miracle, which is fine, but this is not a silent stealth thing.
I would insist that I bestow, her the patron's blessing upon them all before we go on our journey. And it's a lie. I'm willing to lie. Okay.
You're willing to lie. What's your alignment?
Yeah, I know. I read that part of the gazetteer too. It says I can lie.
I don't remember writing anything about lying, but I'll take your word for it. I believe you.
People can be scrupulous if they unscrupulous.
Being lawful doesn't mean you're nice. You can be a complete jerk and still be lawful. Yeah. You can be chaotic and still be kind of nice, though it's extremely unusual.
So neither of the people that you have hired are indicated to you by the patron's insight to be anything other than normal people, as far as you can tell.
Yeah.
This isn't detect alignment. She won't tell you if they're lawful or chaotic or whatever, but they bear you no ill will, and they are not planning to betray you imminently.
Anybody else within 60 feet?
Well, you can walk around at half speed, as long as you maintain concentration for up to 8 hours a day.
Oh, this is something we would do over dinner, at the inn and tavern.
Masquerading with prayers.
Yeah.
No one is a summoned demon or bearing you any substantial ill will at the moment.
Excellent.
Around here. That is a good question, though, and something I'll keep an eye out for. Let me know if you use this elsewhere or at other times, and I will try to keep you apprised of any important details. But for now, the coast looks clear.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's one of the reasons I like it. I think this will be just about an SOP. I would imagine that he'll invoke the patron constantly.
Invoke Saint Bloombad. Apparently.
It's a good... Hey, man, if you've got it, flaunt it.
Yeah. Fair enough. He took the profit. If he wants to, he can. It has its drawbacks written right in. So Watts and Sandaf will both settle in a little bit over the next day or so. Watts seems not to have changed very much. You see that Sandaf, after you have hired him, seems to relax substantially and is no longer questioning you at every turn and every word.
Cool.
He just seemed maybe like he was antsy about something at first, but he's keeping tight-lipped about what it was.
Well, I know it's not. At least we know it's not something spooky.
Yeah. Sandath will be somewhat poorly equipped. He has a short bow that looks like it's handmade and some arrows. But
it's not super cheap to replace, if I remember correctly.
And he'll have he'll tell you that he'd like a knife if you can spare one.
Oh yeah, sure, we can swing that. All right, so we need a new short bow, and
no, he has a short bow.
Oh,
it just looks like it's kind of a crappy one. Yeah, I mean, a short bow's a short bow. It just doesn't look like it's a very fancy.
He needs a dagger.
You know, and he can't use armor.
We need a shield.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll be 3. How much is a dagger? Check. 3 GP for the
You're
dagger.
welcome to check it later if you'd like to handle the shopping between the sessions. It's things like this that you can definitely afford.
Yeah. I buy them a dagger and a shield.
Great, done. They'll also need water skins, probably, if you're going to be going out for any substantial period of time, but they're willing to rough it with what they've got for clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. You head out to the needlebreak. Is that the plan? Have I understood that correctly?
I believe so.
Okay. On the morning of the 1st of the next month. Auspicious. The 1st of the stag. You set out on the road. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, I need to pull up my map real quick. Where did I put my map? Where's the weather? It is a balmy day, 71 degrees, overcast, with gentle winds. Isn't that nice?
Okay. Similuricus can... Yeah, ride them. We have that medium horse. Are you... Similuricus, do you want to ride it?
Yes, thank you.
Good, get on it. Get up there, heavy boy.
Yeah, this is the horse. Well, yeah, I'm pretty light.
The horse is pretty sturdy.
I rolled up 125 pounds, which in 69 inches sort of makes sense, actually, you know, given the time period and everything.
Nice.
11. Okay, so it is 11 of your 24 effective miles to travel to the edge of the needlebreak, the ruins of Aspen, where you were before.
We had clear directions to get to the cavern, did we not?
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea, but Jagrov does, in fact, have clear directions that he extracted from a captive. Yes.
Yes.
The rest of you only know about what he shares.
Well, Marie, I think, made a sketch, perhaps, of his. So I will pull that out and compare it to whatever Holt's been working on. And
okay. I imagine Holt will eat that right up. He is probably delighted to have information about this unmapped area. That is glory upon glory for him.
Nice.
So you will have no trouble finding the path once you have entered the needlebreak. Let me see thing real quick. Wow, that is tiny. I gotta make that bigger. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Okay, so this is the same primeval forest that you remember of cedar, yew, and oak trees. The growth is thick and old and forbidding, though the outermost mile is still traversable. Before you get too far in to the forest, whoever's up front, and I will need your marching order after this.
I'm planning to OSC.
Oh, we're using the same one? Okay, good. Thank you.
I mean, I updated it, but yeah, it's for the current gang of 5.
You updated the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome. I love you. Big friend.
Holt and Telma are up front. Please roll me surprise.
All right. Yeah.
They're both explorers.
Okay, yeah.
6. And that's before we add +1 to Holt and +2 to me.
Well, you only would fail on a 2 or less for the party. So
not an issue.
you see directly ahead of you and facing the opposite direction a party of 12 fur-laden travelers walking near the outer rim, just inside the forest.
What do you mean fur-laden?
Meaning they are carrying a bunch of furs.
Okay.
12 fur-laden travelers.
Yes.
Can we tell?
Probably trappers.
I fire. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, these are red deer furs.
That would be a lot of money.
Yeah.
Humans?
Yeah, we should say hello to them.
This is a surprise round. What do you do in your surprise round?
I vote
Nothing.
hello. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I
You're
vote
up front.
nothing.
You're up
Jograf,
front.
what do you want to do?
Agree. Nothing.
Okay.
Oh, we have
We'll
to
just
take Similicus and just like, okay, dude.
Just
Okay, yeah.
wait a second and see what they do. Stay low.
So you're doing nothing in the surprise round? Are you hiding in the surprise round? I'm not clear.
Yes, we are hiding. We are taking it like we're doing that thing that explorers do where we vanish. Since we're taking advantage of being the scouts.
Okay, roll me 2 d20s, one for you and one for Holt.
We're good.
You're looking for a 3+. Okay, you two disappear, and you see one of the trappers turn around and say, "What's that?" It was nothing.
Must have been
One of the other ones says, and just says, "Yeah. Come on, we still have far to go today." Man, I'm just off on dialogue. I'm doing my best.
Dialogue is really hard.
I mean, I can't dialogue very well outside of an RPG, so I mean, I think you're doing great. So.
That's interesting. Well, you're very kind. That isn't why I said it. Telma will recognize these as probably local trappers, and one of them looks like he's someone from our village.
Oh. All right. In that case, Similicus, you were totally right.
Fire?
No. That we should just say hi.
See, I told you,
okay.
And I just pop up and wave my clinky.
Yeah, it's fine.
Metal
That thing.
arm around.
Well, let the loud cleric be very friendly for a minute. He clearly wants to, and there's no reason not to that I can see. And before this gets him killed.
Well, so he'll step out and greet them, and they will sort of jump. A couple of them, not all of them, but a couple of them have bows, and all of them appear to be wearing, something resembling armor made of probably hide scraps that weren't as valuable or were pierced through and layer over. So they're like vaguely armed and armored, but you can tell these clearly aren't fighting people.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen?
They say, "Who goes there?"
Oh, yeah. I am the catechist Similicus. Asconin. I don't like to say everything, just completely reveal my entire PII here.
They are confused. What? How many are you?
Oh, there's
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, you're no we're not going to be any trouble to you. Just passing through the forest. We want to know if you've seen anything worth warning a stranger about while you've been going through.
One of them pushes past the others. He's shorter and younger. Some of these are old and gray, starting to go gray. And he says, Telma?
Yeah.
You recognize this young man as Romit from your village. You didn't know him that well, but it was a pretty small place, and you recognize him anywhere. What are you doing here?
Well, started hanging out with some adventurers, and God help me, they infected me with their bad ideas about heroism. We're in here looking to see if we can figure out. We're in here poking around into the deeper plant. We are going to head deeper into the needlebreak to see what can be found.
Are you insane?
Arguably.
This isn't like you. You were always a prudent and thoughtful worker. What are you doing here? Trying to get yourself killed?
Listen, man, I don't know what to tell you. I've lost some people to this. We all have. But I lost some people.
Down.
I saw some people do some real brave shit. And I also saw more money than I've ever seen in my life. So a combination of virtuous and not so virtuous motivations have moved me to rise beyond my station. And we'll see if I am smitten by higher powers for it.
When you mentioned that you've lost people and we all have, he sort of gets a somber look on his face, as do some of the other hunters who are looking on and waiting for this exchange to play out, pleased that they haven't been taken in ambush or shot by a rogue crossbowman. He says, do you think you can get them back?
If I can't, I think I can find out enough that someone who can get them back can do it. I'm a scout.
Do you think you know where they are?
We got some ideas, yeah. Our man here is a survivor of a previous expedition to the needlebreak, and I point to Chagrav. He had a run-in with some of the bandits from deeper in. They've got a headquarters whose location he extracted. We're going there to check it out now.
His eyes will go wide at this, and he'll say, you think you can save them?
I don't know. And her stoic facade sort of cracks up a little bit. I gotta try, though. It's I've seen men braver than me. And I want to be like that. So I want to try.
So you will notice one thing about this arrangement, which is that hunters from different villages very rarely group together to do their work. They usually stay with people who are from their village. So the fact that he's with a bunch of people who, by the way, you don't recognize, means that he took up with them, you would imagine, after Lena, your village, was leveled.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's here means that his family's not around.
Yeah. This can't continue. If we don't do something about it now, if I don't do something about it now. Look, man. To the north of us, we got Lucara and Ascona, and to the south of us, we got Hansa. Trouble's coming for us, whether we like it or not. We gotta be ready to meet it. If we don't meet it on our terms, it'll come and meet us on theirs. So we gotta get ready.
He'll sigh and look to the other hunters. And then he'll look back to you and say, take me with you.
Okay. Come on in.
Wow, okay. That was easier than I was expecting. Okay, fine. Great.
Hang on a sec.
Jogra will lean in and say, "Is this one a friend of yours?"
Yeah, I know him going way back. The others, though, I looked at Similaricus. My man here, and I pat Similaricus on probably the thigh, since I'm short and he's on a horse. He's a holy man from Ascona, favored by the saint. Good man. He'd like to lead us in a blessing to sanctify our expedition before we turn to this task. Which is to say, like, I need you to check if any of these guys are in league with Hyper Satan.
Yeah, you whisper that, and because I'm about to actually just like give a blessing, and I'm like, oh.
I mean, you can do a blessing too. I like blessings, but like, do a check.
Okay. And I do that. I say the litany against hidden evils and stuff.
Okay.
Canticle of, show me
the Canticle of Revelations.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. None of these people bear you ill will. They probably are just hunters, though the spell doesn't tell you that.
I turn to Telma and just give like a thumbs up.
All right.
Yeah. It's my one trick. That and plate armor.
That's also a good trick.
The oldest one of them will come up to you afterward and set his hand. Well, he'll try to set his hand on your shoulder, but it's probably too high up. So I guess he'll also set his hand on your thigh, pat it, and say, I was never clever enough to understand High Asconan, but thank you for the blessing, Father.
Oh.
It means a lot.
Yeah, okay. That's probably the correct title, right? So he's like, yes, of course. Everything is going to be okay. I'm sure of it. The patron will bless your journey out of this forest. It'll be all right.
Man, you make me believe it.
Make him believe it too. Okay. Well, they will thank you. And did you have anything else that you wanted to talk to them about or ask them about, or is this just a chance encounter and you're moving on your way?
Have they seen anything crazy?
They will say that one of them who followed a trail a little bit deeper in said he saw beastmen entering and exiting cave on a rocky hill.
Like, not men in furs? Not men in masks? What'd you see?
Well, they were horrible. They were inhuman, monstrous, unnatural, savage.
Yes, but what did they look like?
Long snouts, maws full of tusks and teeth. Almost 3 feet tall.
Wait, hang on a second. They were 3 feet tall? Tiny little men?
Yes. I saw them myself.
Telma is like trying to fit this into her worldview. She's like, wait a minute. People don't come that small with knives, unless they're children. Hang on a minute. Hang on.
Were they children with knives?
Like little kids? What? We're talking about beast kids?
No, they were covered in scales.
Oh my.
Carrying spears.
These may be the very
kinds
monsters.
of things that steal children in the night. What are you talking about?
These could be the monsters that people speak of.
Yes, they could.
We should do battle with these things.
And does this map accord with your recollection?
Does it?
And I'll show them the
Will you
scrap.
show them your map?
Yeah.
He'll look at it and say, this seems to lead quite a bit further than I went, but it's the same direction. There's a straightaway at the end. You can't miss it, probably.
If there are little critters that are 3 feet tall running around with spears, I want to see that. Can you lead us back there?
Oh, no. I won't, but this is right, he says.
What if I gave
I'm
you
sure
10
of it.
gold pieces?
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to die.
I turn back. He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. Holy crap. Alright,
Let us go.
Telma has a lot to think about.
Okay. So you've gotten one additional hunter named Romit, who is also 0th level. Have you hit your henchman cap? Because you've just kind of stacked them up.
5.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, he has a short bow and a hunting knife.
Okay, I'm putting him into the.
Okay, and he's wearing hide armor. He'll bid the other ones farewell, and they'll say, good luck. Come back in one piece. He'll say to them that he will, but he has to know what happened to his mother.
And we know he won't.
No.
Okay.
We might yet. Let's not give up before the dice are cast.
Okay. You're going to leave them here? Do you have anything else you want to talk to them about?
No, let's move on.
I don't. I'm ready to go unless Similuricus has something to talk about.
No. We should find these things and put an end to their menace. These abominations.
They're stealing little 3-foot-tall scaly critters.
Bloombad would be so proud of you, Ross. So you'll continue on your way. You find and follow the path, though the path that Jagrov will remember. You found the wagon going down. It's unusually wide for a forest. It doesn't seem paved or anything, but it's definitely a good-sized path compared to the rest of the absurdly dense overgrowth that would otherwise hamper your movement. The opening of this path is not particularly easy to find, but it seems that the hunters perhaps knew of it as well and just steered clear. You'll be able to follow it with almost no trouble. It's almost as though you're not passing through a forest at all. It's, at least as long as you follow this path, about as fast as just traveling through the plains.
Nice.
Yeah, you will make it through to the 17th of your 24 effective miles of travel for the day before the path gets thin again. And while you still think that you can follow it the rest of the way up, you think it'll be slow going from here on out. Let's see. So you continue forward into the wood.
I have to grab a Coke. I'll be right back.
Go for it. It's closing in on the end of the day, and you suspect you may need to camp out. But before you run out of time and energy and daylight, which still trickles down through the leaves of the canopy, you come upon a clearing. Or at least you see one rising in the distance. The path snakes up a wide hill, at the top of which you see a dome of black stone. Some maybe 400 feet tall. maybe a little less.
Now, when you say dome, should I be interpreting that in a literal geometric sense, or in the sense of like
Yep.
there is a rock form? Okay, so this is not just a natural rock formation. There is a 400-foot tall hemisphere.
Roughly. I mean, it could just be a hill, but yeah, it's an unusual color. You would think.
I thought you said it's on a hill. Like we're going up. This is up towards the hill. And then
You see a slope. You see a slope start, and then pretty much it turns into this dome.
Oh, so it's part of the terrain, as far as we can tell, from where we are. Like we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a path seems to be blazed, switchbacking. I mean, not too many times. It's only a hill, but switchbacking about two times leading up to it. Switching back, I imagine, is the verb for that. I never heard that one.
I turn back to Holt and say, "Now, do you know anything about a 400? Do you know anything about a gigantic black stone hill? Gigantic black stone dome?"
And Holt says,
I didn't even know you could build something that big.
And Telma says,
who cares? Telma shuts up. We continue. Do we want to go interfere with this horrible thing or not? This thing scares the crap out of me. It's way too big.
I am down to do it. That's my vote.
Okay.
Do you want to scan it for evil?
Well, I have to be within 60 feet.
Yeah, you are nowhere near 60 feet away from this. You are quite distant. Despite the thickness of the forest, you can see this at a pretty reasonable distance away. It's not that the forest gets thinner, it's that this hill lifts up above the tree line, which isn't too unusual in a forest like this. There are higher and lower areas of elevation. And you certainly couldn't see this from outside the forest. It's not that tall, but it's, I mean, normally you'd be lucky to see 200 feet away, and this you can easily make out from the better part of a kilometer.
This is to clarify, I want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. This is a 400-foot tall black stone dome, not a hill.
That's correct.
Not a rock formation. It is a constructed artifact that looks like it was built and maybe polished.
I'm also
it doesn't look like it was polished. Yeah. It doesn't look like it was polished. It just looks like it's a dome of rock.
Okay.
But it's definitely pretty round. You would describe it as probably rough hewn.
Okay. I'm going to level with you guys. This is terrifying. This alarms me in and out of character. This is too large an object for me to be comfortable with. The thing scares me. But do we want to go touch it?
Jogrov, is it familiar? Can I make a lore roll, perhaps?
You may certainly do that, yes. It will be an 18 plus for lore mastery.
18, baby.
Oh shit.
Now you have to do it. Now you have to figure it. Yeah.
No. This one I've got. Yes. You will know exactly what this is. This is how do I want to give this to you? You remember a story from the latter days of Depar. The great sorcerer kings of the waning empire built cities all over the area that you're currently in and ruled them cruelly. This was the heart of their depravities, not necessarily this one, but these cities. They were places of sacrifice and typically built on sites of power, sites where the veil was thin. And Ascona took exception. And in her cruelties, sought to seal some of them up. Or so it's told.
Containment dome.
Is it true? Is it false? It's difficult to say. But you have heard such stories, and this certainly calls it to mind. A dome of black granite. Yes, this you've heard.
Okay, and it was built to contain what? The city itself?
Oh, not built. It was rained down from the sky to crush.
Oh. So it's just a meteor. How big is it?
400 feet tall.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that
Maybe
part.
four or 500 feet in size.
That's why I've been trying to emphasize that. It is unsettlingly large.
So this is a Skonan magic, basically? The result
That's
of it?
just a story you've heard. You got no clue. All you know
say
is
a
the lore
Skonan
mastery.
magic.
There are also people who believe that it's all poppycock, and
Well,
it's just.
I'm not one of those those types of people.
I mean, this was a couple thousand years ago. Who knows what's true?
I found.
Well, I rolled an 18. I rolled an 18 on a lore roll, so I'm gonna.
And that's lore. Is it true?
Yeah.
Is it false? I can't say, but that is definitely lore related to this sort of thing.
Jagrav believes it and repeats the whole thing as fact.
Well,
the henchman thinks this is ridiculous.
I don't know, man.
What happened?
Well, the practical upshot is that we have found a 400-foot tall dome, which of rough-hewn black granite on top of a hill in the middle of the forest, which Jagrav believed is likely to be a site of power, which was sealed by some magical miracle during the war against the Dapari, because the Dapari had cities built on places of power, and as part of the war against them, those places of power were sealed up. And the theory is that this 400-foot tall dome of black granite is one of those seals. And now that I know what it is, think I know what it is. I am
know what it is. Know what it is. What are you talking about? This is a lore. This is a rumor. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
you believe anything this guy says?
Ironclad fact.
I have a class feature, okay?
Go on.
Yes.
We get a few of those in Acts.
Jagrav is sure, and he does this location line up with the ley lines?
We can look at the map afterward. I don't know. Have you been tracking that somehow?
Well,
because I feel like I can't tell you that straight across.
If he has any method by which to do so, he would have been, especially if we're coming back in this direction. But
okay.
But
you wouldn't rule it out. But we will look at the exact distances later. I'll give you a map, and you can try to line up what's where.
Yeah.
But
so
you wouldn't rule out the possibility that this is
I apologize
a confluence.
For having missed this part, but this is just along the road or off to the side of the path a little bit.
The path leads directly here. The path that's wide leads you through one section of the forest for about 6 miles, and then narrows. But it continues. It branches in a few directions, but this is the one. You follow the directions that your guy gave you. Turn left at the thrice marked tree. Take a loop around the big stone.
Yeah. So, this is the big stone.
This is the terminus where he told you they were. He thought they probably came from. Yeah.
Then this lends credence, you see, to the history. This is history, not merely rumor.
Whatever it is, we can see it right there before our eyes. It is
We must search for the entrance.
Cautious. Remember who he said we're here. Beastman.
Yes.
Man or beast. I don't want to meet anyone with a sharp knife coming from my
Those
short tonight.
those with bows should remain alert while we look.
Don't worry about that.
Okay. Are you planning to ascend toward the summit of the steep and rocky hill?
Yeah, I think so. Do we see anyone on top of the hill, like, getting ready to shoot us? Or any obvious places where they could easily do that?
You will see that there is, at the end of, as you get a little closer, you'll see that at the end of the path, there's a great, over 100-foot wide and at least maybe 30 feet tall gap in the dome. There's a huge old opening. You would have to get closer to be sure if there's anything watching, but there's certainly no door on the outside. Just a gap.
Set yet?
It's getting close, but it hasn't set yet.
How long would it take us to scamper up there and take a peek?
You can do that. 10 minutes.
You guys want to check it out?
Yes.
Up we go.
Okay. Are you guys just walking up? Are you creeping up? Are you riding the horses? Are you
what I'd like to do
sending
is
just a couple scouts?
Yeah, I think what I'd like to do is have Telma and Holt take point and kind of check to see if there's an ambush waiting before we do anything. And if it looks like it's safe to proceed, we'll wave the others up since they can see us from down there.
Okay, Sundath will want to go up with you.
Can you run real fast?
Oh, yes.
Come on up.
Okay. As you approach... By the way, do you guys want to take control of the other two henchmen? I can distribute those and have... So why don't I give Sandath to Ross and...
Holt. Well, Holt's already...
Holt's already... No, we have 3 henchmen, real quick. So I'm going to give Sandath to Ross and Watts and Romit to Chris. They're all 0th levels.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sandath is a little sneaky. So the 3 of you, the 2 scouts and Sandath, will approach the great crack, and you will hear muttering from within.
Any language we know?
It sounds guttural and hissing. It's not a language that you speak. Sandath will tap you on the shoulder. Bestial.
Yeah.
What's the move?
Kill them all.
Let's see how many. Let's see if we can see how many there are. Get ready to run.
Okay.
Actually.
So, how are you going about this?
I'm gonna see if I would like to advance cautiously, with what stealth I can muster, and try and get to a position where I can put eyes on what's making the muttering. Ideally, without them noticing me in turn, which I recognize is not super duper likely, but I'm prioritizing not being seen over getting a sight. But if I can get a view, I'd like to take it.
Okay. I hope you'll excuse me for just one moment while I pull up a page where I have written down a procedure that is relevant for this. The sneaking and surprise procedure. Actually, it's just a tiny little flowchart. I just want to make sure I'm looking at it correctly.
Everyone loves a good flowchart.
Passive. Okay. As you advance up the plateau, this evens out into a plateau before the dome starts. As you get up close, that's what you realize. It extends very slightly further out. You'll see this great 130-foot wide, 30-foot tall crack torn open. You're approaching the edge of it, and as you round the edge, and you're poking your head out, right?
Like that.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. You'll see 4 short, mean-looking creatures. They've got yellow reptilian eyes that kind of flash in the dark, and nasty, jag-toothed caemanid maws sprawling out, teeth in all sorts of irregular directions. They've got kind of twice articulated legs and ridged tails. They're carrying crude spears with barbed tips.
Well, that sounds nasty.
And they spot you.
Run. Full tilt.
Run. Oh, well, before you run, they'll, you're not sure, maybe hail you? They'll hiss out something guttural and raise up a hand as if to say halt.
Abominations.
Now, you would still want to run, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just thought it was maybe important to know that
there?
they weren't kill on sight. Well, you won't know until Telma gets back, but it turns out to have been 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's because
you
the
guys
scouting
counted.
thing. All right.
Yes,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys will get back to the group, and you'll see one of them poke his head around the corner and see the rest of your group and hiss and go running off.
Telma scampers all the way back and says, "They're real. We gotta go now. They're about to get all their friends over."
Good. You guys should probably.
What are you guys doing? I'm afraid that time is of the essence here. Are you trying to fight? Are you trying to run? Trying to approach? You trying to get up and parley? What's the move?
None of us. I don't think any of us speak their language. They little guys, like you said, about 3 feet tall. They got barbed spears. I saw 4 of them.
These vile creatures should be killed.
Yeah, okay, that's great, but there's
4?
I guess. Okay, sure, fine.
They're like 2.5 feet tall, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Kill
true.
them all.
Oh my God.
Jagra will cut.
Okay.
Well, if you guys are gonna be brave, I guess I gotta be brave.
So this has now been 2 rounds of talking. I need to know what your plan is.
Attack.
All right.
And we're gonna move forward and attack. Yeah.
Wait, no.
Okay.
We can leave a snare. No, okay, fine. Let's move forward and attack.
I need to get.
Okay, you're about 50 feet away. You need to get a what?
Lance. Oh, I can't
Okay.
use a lance.
You don't have riding, so you can't fight from horseback until you take that proficiency. And also, this isn't a warhorse, so you couldn't fight from horseback anyway.
Well, I'll get all those someday, Judge. You'll see. You'll see.
I will. I am excited for it. I freaking love mounted combat in this system. Okay, so it's also super powerful. So you will. It'll take you 2 rounds to get up to get up there, and
Let's see how many there are.
there are only 3, but they have sort of hunkered down by a massive bronze door that is cracked open, and they're peeking out from behind it. You see 2 of them peeking out from behind it.
How big's the door?
That's a really good question. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm trying to find my dimensions.
Wait, it's a door in the
massive.
crack?
They're massive feet long. That's what it says. Sorry, my notes say they're massive. I would say these doors together are 10 feet across.
Okay.
And you can see, I won't give you too much here, but you can also see that this is like on either side of it, there are decorative mosaics of the earth vised between the jaws of a crocodile.
Huh.
And directly on either side of these two bronze doors are tall columns carved with carved in the pattern of like a clustered asphodel bud. Do you know what that looks like?
Sort of. Let me just go ahead and Google. I know how to spell asphodel, so I can Google it.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So torch flowers. Anyway, so these guys are hanging out by the door, and they're hissing at you.
What are you?
What language are you saying that in?
Well, I tried common first, or rather trade Hansen.
So you're moving into a sort of parley situation here. Have we changed the plan from kill them all?
Well, they're about to shut the door in our face, so I would rather stop them from doing that. We can decide what to do later.
Yeah.
Okay, they continue to issue the same challenge from before. You're not sure if they're asking who you are, or for a password, or they're just saying halt, or they're demanding tribute. It's really hard to tell. You don't understand a word they're saying. It sounds like degenerate Depari, but you don't know what the words are.
Well, I'll try old Depari then.
You see a flicker of recognition, but they don't seem to understand what you're saying. They try to say something back. You get a more full sentence from them, but again, you can't really make out any of the words.
I propose we move in as friends and slay them when they least expect.
How are you going to?
How are you going to do that?
Move in as friends.
So you speak in soothing tones with your hands outstretched, like so. I say, and I begin taking just small steps forward, hands outstretched, speaking in these soothing tones.
Man.
They hiss at you angrily, and as you start to get closer, you can see that one of them has arched back an arrow on his little short bow.
I'll stop.
Okay, he'll wait, or she. Hard to tell.
I will take out a single gold piece.
Okay.
And offer it for passage.
You'll see the bow string relax. It turns back and says something, and you see one of the hands motion you forward in a strange, kind of clawing way.
I will also beckon my friends to come up to at least where I'm at. So
you'll see hands go up as if to say stop, and then just one finger, and it'll motion you forward with its claw again.
I will stride forward, trusting my friends to have my back.
The hand comes out to receive the coin.
I place it.
Okay. It takes it, gnaws on it a little bit with its big old jagged tooth maw, passes it back to the other two, and then one of them sort of refuses to pass it back. It starts like clawing at the other ones and grabs the coin, says something in a language you don't understand, and it pushes the door open. It says again something in a language you don't understand, but it's clearly beckoning you in now at this point.
Okay, I beckon my friends.
It holds up a hand, and it holds up the coin, and it points to each of your friends.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Telma covers it.
Oh, wow, thank you. Goodness.
Okay.
So that's that's 4 GP. No, 5 GP.
Okay.
Let us see what lies within. There is no
Now we are
way...
coming up on time here. Do you guys want to continue for a little bit? Are you hitting your limit here, and we should just pause and come back at this starting point next session?
It's not a limit. Yeah, this is a good cliffhanger. If we're not in 1-for-1 time, this is like the perfect place to start a session.
Yeah, the only thing that we've been doing 1-for-1 is dialogue.
An interesting thing is
1-for-1 dialogue.
Yeah. I regret nothing.
This will also stop me from doing a billion things over the course of the week with Telma, since we'll be, for a moment, in a paused state. And yeah, this is a great cliffhanger.
Okay. As you walk into the doorway, having paid your toll, you see something that I will come up with before next session.
Yes.
Sounds good.